Now we're going to take a moment and look at the dimensions panel of the Annotate tab. A lot of this we're familiar with. Over here we have the drop-down menu for all of our dimensioning tools, which we've looked at with the exception of Ordinate, and we'll get to that later. And we also have a drop-down with all of our dimension styles that are available. There's no access to the style manager from here, but this is all the styles we've created. If you want to go to the style manager, again, you can go to the small arrow in the bottom right hand corner of the panel, and if you click that, it brings you to the style manager for dimensions, which of course we've already covered at length. What we're going to focus on are these tools across the bottom right here, and also some of the tools in the drop down. We're going to start up here, not necessarily in the order they have them, but we will cover most of these. The first one I want to look at is right here, third from the left, quick dimension. Very simple tool, very easy tool. You just have to be sure that you're selecting the right things that you want to dimension. If you click that tool, quick dimension, it will just simply ask you to select the geometry to dimension. So what we're going to do is just select this whole top view, whole thing. And as soon as we select that top view, like a lot of other commands, it's going to continue to ask you to select geometry, so it doesn't know when we're finished. So since we have selected the whole top view, we're going to want to right click or hit enter to tell it we're finished selecting objects, basically. And as soon as we do that, it's just going to ask you to specify the dimension line position, or you can enter coordinates, but we're just wanting to place them. And you can see as I pull my mouse, it's pulling extension lines off of this corner, this corner, this corner, but it's also grabbing this hidden line right here, which we know is a no-no. If I pull to the right, it's going to pull off of endpoint, endpoint, endpoint here. So I can pull them to the right. If I pull to the top, I'm going to the hidden lines, which is not good. And if I go to the left, it's actually pulling an extension line all the way across from this point. Okay, so the quick dimension can be very useful. If I want to pull off to the right and then say, okay, this is the location I want my dim lines to be, I would just left click. Now I've got dimensions there. Okay, and you can see it's pulled off of these three endpoints. Got my gap, they're lined up perfectly, got my dimensions, as long as my style's right, I'm good. If I use that same technique, but then go, whoops, excuse me. If I use that same technique, but then go up, you can see I have a problem. It's literally selected every piece of geometry, which includes these two hidden lines. Well, we know from dimensioning techniques that I don't want to dimension to hidden lines, so that's not a good thing. And so what I'd want to do in that case is I might want to use quick dimension, but I would just select the objects that I wanted to pull a dimension from and place that. In this case, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because I could just click these two endpoints and have that same dimension. But in some cases, it might be useful. So I could use quick dimension down here, select all of these pieces of geometry just on this side, pull some dimensions out here, and it's going to hit all these object lines. So anything you select, when you use quick dimension, it's going to try to pull a dimension from. Okay, and again, it may include hidden lines if you select those. So you want to be careful about your selection. But if you have a lot of lines that need to be dimensioned, and they all should be lined up together like these, then it's a pretty easy tool to use, and it saves some time. Because again, I can use, if I wanted to hit all these points on the left side, I could just use quick dimension. Use a crossing window, select the whole left side, right click, hit enter, tell it where I want my dimension lines to be located, and then left click again, and I've got all three of them right there ready to go. So that's quick dimension. It's pretty simple. Next to it, we have continue dimension. We're not going to worry about baseline right now. We'll come back to that. But continue dimension can be useful as well. If I had already started, say, one linear dimension to go from here to here, then I could use continue dimension, and it would just pick up from where I left off at the end of this one, and then I just select the points I want to dimension to, and it'll continue dimensioning as long as I want to. And then as soon as I reach the last point, just hit escape, and I have those other dimensions there. So it's a pretty useful tool in that respect. Again, all I need is one dimension, and as long as that dimension is there, I can hit continue, and it'll pick up from the last dimension that I placed. It'll come from the endpoint of the last pick, and then I just keep going. I can go as many times as I want to until I'm finished, and I just hit escape. And then obviously that one's not needed. One nice thing about it is that, let's say I had a dimension up here, and I know all of these are simple examples, but I'm just trying to demonstrate the tools and how they work. It's not so much about the complexity right now. But if I wanted to continue off of this dimension, even though it wasn't the last one that I actually had drawn, when I hit continue dimension, it says specify second extension line origin or. So that or tells me that there's other options. And so remember that the little arrow symbol at the end of the text box right there by the cursor means if I hit the down arrow on my keyboard, I get other options. So I can hit select, which will allow me to select a dimension that I want to continue from. So I can select the continued dimension, and if I select this one, then it'll come off of that end, and I can go where I want to go. So it will by default, when I hit it, start from wherever the last one was I placed. But if I down arrow, hit select, then I can select which one that I want to continue from, which may be this one. So then it'll come off of that, and I can go where I want to go. So continue dimension is also a nice one.